So let us talk about the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, who's in a very, very big week and has spoken to Labour MPs to say, look, you've got to get behind me here because this is a big one. So Reeves tells Labour MPs to unite for her budget. Were you in that meeting, Carolyn?
No, but I heard really good reports about it after.
Yeah, and she was okay. She's not on edge.
No, apparently she went down really well. It was a PLP meeting, which happens every week at 6 o'clock on a Monday night.
Parliamentary Labour Party, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you miss it?
Because I was actually speaking at the event about women's health.
Okay.
So I was off-site.
You can always
shortly.
have a pass for that.
Thank you. But people did actually go to their way to come on to me in the vote lobby and say how well she'd gone down and how enthused people were after the meeting. So I've not read the reports in the paper, but I will go by what my colleagues told me last night.
Well, she seems to say, look, there's going to be stuff in here you're going to like, and if you like it, you've got to shout it from the rooftops.
And that's rightly so.
Yeah,
and I will
that's
be there.
There's heavier taxes on rich people and stuff.
I'm not the Chancellor. I don't know what's going to be in the budget.
But I mean, that's the sort of thing that will go down well.
Well, we've got to share the burden, haven't we?
Mansion tax.
I don't know what's in the budget, Jeremy,
I'm just saying, what sort of thing do Labour
Well,
MPs...
we've already closed the loophole for nom-doms, haven't we? We've increased air passenger duty on private jets. We've taxed private schools. So we're already indicating that those with more than the average man on the street or woman on the street are going to have to maybe pay more. But I genuinely do not know what's in the budget.
I just wonder what it is that's going to make the Labour MPs say, this is what we want.
Well,
what do you think, Andrew?
Action on child poverty is what's going to make us happy.
Yeah, okay.
Respectfully, you don't know what's in the budget when this has to have been the most trailed, most leaked, most porous attempt at keeping the budget
Well, we know what's
private.
Not in it, because they've had to rule out some stuff.
You know, all the kind of pitch rolling, kite flying, all those torturous analogies about what's going on. And it's awful because that speculation has had a damaging impact on industry, on commerce. It's made people rush to cash in pension pots because things have been touted and then
But it's speculation, Angela. I mean, every budget is the same.
No,
every budget we get all
There's never been a run-up to a
They've
budget like this.
But just on one of the things that came out in this meeting, and Rachel Reeves, I think, has indicated this at the weekend as well, she feels she's getting a lot of flack because she's a woman.
You agree with that?
You agree. So she talked about sexism, she talked about so-called armchair critics who've questioned her ability to do the job, nicknamed her Rachel from accounts and all that. She said, I don't think even I had recognised the misogyny that still exists in public life. She previously has said she's sick of people mansplaining how to be Chancellor to her. And she is our first ever female Chancellor, so maybe you recognise some truth in that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been on the receiving end of misogyny myself many, many times. Not from colleagues, interestingly enough, where I think Rachel probably gets more from colleagues than I do. But in terms of the public's perception of female politicians, everybody wants to correct us or tell us how bad we look for me. You know, what you wear. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. But no, it's a lot of misogyny.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a load of rubbish. I think, respectfully, I think that...
Respect is taken as read.
Well, you know, because it
lovely of you to say
sounds
that,
awful to sort of... I'm not dismissing your opinion, but I do absolutely disagree with it in the sense that she wants it both ways. She touted herself as, I'm the first female Chancellor. I'm a great role model for women. Well, you're not if you're a rubbish Chancellor and you trash the economy, you're not a role model for women.
You probably would have said the same about Liz Truss, would you?
But no, not necessarily.
She did trash the economy.
Well, yeah, but Liz Truss was not a great model for anyone.
I'm an egalitarian. I think people should be judged on the merit, on their ability to do a job. I don't care what reproductive organs or otherwise that they have. And I think it goes with public life, and I'm sure you could tell me far better than I could, that the privilege and pain of public life, especially in this country, is to have nicknames about our politicians. We had, Prime Minister.
Well,
you know,
Carolyn will tell you what she went through, and we've talked about it before. Yeah. And it was not nice.
No, it's not. I mean, the outcome for me is brilliant. I've lost 9 stone. But the reason why I done it was the wrong reason.
But I understand. I was going to say respectfully again, but I understand personal remarks. There's never any excuse for them.
That is what.
But Rachel from accounts is Jeremy from accounts. We had spreadsheet Phil. We've always had nicknames about our chancellors, and you have to accept if people think you are not doing the job properly and you are not efficient and you're not competent. We run to nicknames in this country.
All right. Well, this is what the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch said about Reeves's mansplaining comments.
I'm not a man, and I think she's doing a terrible job. I don't think she can call that mansplaining. A lot of people out there in the country, men and women, thinks that she needs to cut tax, and if she raises it, then she should go. That's what she should be worried about.
Yeah, and she's obviously quite plainly not a man.
Yeah, and she's paid to say that.
Yeah.
No, but it's
She-
sexist.
the
Okay, well, I'm
opposition.
not. I'm not. And I think it's sexist to say mansplaining, because as a woman, I think she's done an atrocious job. And I'm ashamed that she keeps saying, look at me, I'm a woman, first woman chancellor. And then this is what she's done. It would be better if she didn't talk about her gender and just said, I'm proud to have achieved this position and let's see what I can do for the country.
But isn't when you say Rachel from accounts, that to me, and when
derogatory.
people use that, I mean, obviously it's derogatory. You're saying it's an acceptable nickname like Spreadsheet Phil. Rachel from accounts, something female angled about that. It's sort of the idea of you should not be above the rank of secretary. That's what it's kind of saying, isn't it?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I've heard other women say it, but it's only, anecdotal. I don't hear that. I hear that she's being dismissed as some kind of entry-level number cruncher because she's given one of the highest offices of state in the land, and yet she's completely failed at the remit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the specific budget plans after the break, after the leak. After the break. Is it the leak or the break? I don't know. There's been so many leaks, yeah. After the leak. But yeah, it's. You think it's going okay for her? Because I think she's going to be gone by Christmas.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Right. All right. Well, after the break, we will talk about the budget and we'll ask if the middle class should be made to pay more tax. It's tomorrow. We've been waiting so long, and all these things have been trailed. Do you think that she's going to have to hit the middle classes the hardest? Give us a call now with your thoughts. 0207 862 2222 is the number you need. Before the break, we asked, what is a young dragonfly known as? A grub, a nymph, a wireworm? It's a nymph, actually. Yeah, and you could be a nymph for up to 5 years, interestingly, before you mature into a full-blown dragonfly. Welcome back. We're live on 5 with Carolyn and Angela. Later we'll be asking if the racism allegations against Nigel Farage have put you off the Reform leader. He says he's never directly tried to hurt anyone. What do you think? First, though, should the middle class pay more tax? Do call us on this 0207 862 2222. It's the budget tomorrow. One thing the Chancellor has confirmed is that it will be based on Labour values. Lower earners will be protected and people on benefits will be helped too. And it's predicted that there will be an array of tax rises affecting middle and higher income homes. So let's have a look at middle earners here. And it's really important, sorry, bashing my chair. It's really important we get the definition right here. So we'll go to Grok, to the AI software Grok, to say define middle class in the UK. There we go. And it goes into a hell of a lot of stuff. Salary levels, over 40 grand, types of job, established middle class professionals, managers, etc. Regional variations, very important in this country. Then it comes to the summary. The current consensus is you've got to earn roughly 40 to 90,000 pounds gross per year, varies by region. You own or are buying your own home. You've got at least one university-educated adult in the house. You work in professional managerial occupations, and you can afford an annual holiday and a car. Not sure about a private school on 40,000. But anyway, that's their summary of what Middle England is. And here's our family that we've drawn up for you. And here's the Chancellor. And she's going to have to persuade them that they've got to part with some more of their money. So in fact, she's actually really not even going to try the argument. She's just going to take it. And when they say, what? She says, I have got a budget, you know. And off she goes. And the question is, whose sympathies? Where do your sympathies lie there? Is it with this family saying, hang on a minute, we want to keep what we earn, Middle England? Or is it with the Chancellor, who has to actually foot the bill of running the country, and it's very, very expensive? So here are a few of the things that are being loaded onto Middle England as far as we can tell from the budget leaks, and there have been so many. 4 bricks here: tax thresholds, council tax, ISA cut, salary sacrifice, those 4. Let me explain. So tax thresholds being frozen, that brings 1.3 million more people into the higher tax bracket by 2029-30. Fair funding review is about sending council tax money from the south to the north. ISA cut £20,000 a year allowance down to 12, and salary sacrifice is reducing tax breaks on extra pension contributions, particularly in the private sector. Now, if you're Rachel Reeves, you say, well, hang on, Jeremy, that's very negative. The positive side is the money from that goes to schools, hospitals, public transport. And if you deliver on those, there's not a problem with this. Right, Carolyn?
Yeah, and I think most people would say they were willing to pay more for a better NHS and a better transport service.
Yeah. Angela, no.
No, I think tax policies already disproportionately affect the so-called middle classes, or middle earners, I prefer to say them, because they shoulder quite a significant wedge of the tax burden. And I think what happens is that you reduce economic activity, because if they are the people that spend money and pay taxes, then they have less to spend. But also, the Chancellor is punishing people for behaving prudently. So she's after the pensions. She's talking about the so-called mansion tax. You may have very few cash assets, but you've bought a house that has appreciated over the years.
I've actually left the mansion tax out of my graphic for the reason that I think Middle England probably doesn't have a £2 million
No, because it's the £2 million.
As it
OK, fair point. You pay, you work hard to put your kids into private school, which takes the pressure off the public sector. Everything that you do, you save frugally. And what's happening? The people that generate income are being punished, and they're having to pay for those that don't. Now, obviously, in a fair society, those that earn a lot of money have to pay more than those who don't. But she has come after the so-called middle earners, and she is squeezing them for being, as I say, prudent.
Is she squeezing them, Carolyn?
No, I really don't believe she is. And the money from the private school, from the
VAT.
Yes, that's going to make state schools better. I mean, so many of them were crumbling.
Is it though? Because
it's making education more.
Pupils going into the state
you
schools.
create more pressure.
There's a lot more money going into state schools because of the tax on private schools, and that makes education better for all children. You know, when you have an elite education system, there is a section of society whose children are better educated. I want to see all kids having a fair chance. There's a lot of kids in poverty, living in poverty. We need to raise those kids out of child poverty. And yes, I want to see the two child tax limit lifted. Of course I do.
Two-child benefit cap. Okay.
Yeah,
that's more
desperately
on the spending side, because the other way of not doing these tax rises is to cut spending, and certainly not to spend any more on welfare. But she is going to raise that cap.
But you've got to look after those who are unable to look after themselves, whether we like it or not. I don't believe that there are very few. There are some people who willfully claim benefit, but I don't believe that people actually want to be dependent on benefit. I think they want to be working. I think they want to be living in a society where it pays them to go to work. And this is about how we get more people into work and how we support those who are unable to work by keeping them safe and warm.
What part of that do you disagree with, Angela?
Well, OK, so I agree that there are people who can't find jobs, partly because businesses are closing because they can't cope with the higher level of national insurance contributions, the hike in minimum wage, etc. And there are people who want to work and appreciate the dignity of going to work. But if you create a benefit system that makes it profitable to stay at home, how do you break the cycle of welfare dependency? Why have we got 5 million, I don't know what the last stat was, economically inactive people who are not in work, not in further education, and of
working age,
and are of working age.
Or does it include pensioners? No, it doesn't.
No, I'm talking about young. No, it doesn't. And there's a high proportion of younger people. I think we've over-medicalised there are people that have terrible depression, bipolar. I'm not demeaning that, but the so-called ups and downs, and we all have times in our life when we can feel bleak, and we've over-medicalised those. We've made it easier to claim benefits, and the worst thing is that when we need to either raise taxes or cut spending, when there's even been a squeak about cutting spending, the whole cabal of left-wingers and the whole factionalised part of the Labour Party has stopped that. And Starmer is too weak to stand up to that because he keeps an eye on his electoral numbers.
No, I don't agree with that. And I also think that those people who are economically inactive and could be working and should be working are now going to be given the support and the practical advice and all the encouragement to make sure that they do go to work. And I'm primarily talking about a lot of women over 50. There's nearly 1 million of them who are economically inactive, and they've been on long-term sick with mental health problems. A large majority of those will be menopausal women, and now we're actually going to be proactively encouraging these women.
What if the jobs aren't there for them because
the jobs are there? We have the jobs.
Unemployment's gone up, inflation is up.
They may not have the training. They may not have the ability.
Let's take some calls. Denise in Berkshire. Do you think she's hitting Middle England, or do they need to pay more?
Well, actually, my first question is, who is middle class? Are they the people that were born into wealth? Or are they the people that have worked their socks off to have a comfortable life when they get older? I was in social work, I'm retired, and I work with people who are on benefits, and I applaud the fact that there's a benefit system. But too many times now, they're dividing this country so that it's not worth people working because they're better off sometimes on benefits. And they're actually putting down the people that have worked very, very hard, and they are punishing them because of that. And I don't agree with it.
And it sounds as if you would see yourself as middle class through the fruits of your own labour, correct?
Middle class, I don't think,
or middle England,
why are we
like.
Middle class? I don't understand who are middle class.
Well,
we're now such a divisive nation. People in social work, people in those jobs, they weren't that well paid, and people went into them. Nothing to do with being any class. People from all walks of life went into those jobs, nursing, any of those jobs. And they're dividing the nation into those people who've got it, who've probably worked very, very hard to get it, and now they're being punished all the time. It's not worth. Okay. It's not worth working. It's not worth saving.
Wow, thank you, Denise. Angela in Derbyshire, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that no, we shouldn't be taxing the middle class anymore. I think what we should be doing, to be honest, is there's always so many arguments around all this. I think what we should do is raise VAT by 1 or 2%. And I know that's a bit of a radical thing, but it'll bring in about, I think, we'll say 19 billion a year by 2%.
Yeah,
and
they promised not to do it, though.
But they've promised not to do a lot of things, haven't they?
Well, they haven't broken any.
Cuts.
I don't know if they've broken any big ones yet. Have you? So far as we can remember?
Well,
I don't know. Because the Employers' National Insurance wasn't really a manifesto breach.
Well, they said they wouldn't raise national insurance.
They said they would. Well, they wouldn't raise.
Not for the working class.
Yeah, but a lot of working classes run businesses.
Well,
I think the word class confuses everything here, because I am culturally working class. Financially, I'm middle class.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
class is
yeah.
And you get a lot of broke aristocrats as well.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a lot of people who are aristocrats who've got no class. We can think of a few.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angela. Other Angela. Are you finished, Angela? You want to say some more?
No. Oh, sorry. I just want to say some more. Sorry. Just that I think that by doing that, and then in the time we're able to things like wanting to implement to do with the welfare cuts, and they've got more time to do that rather than do it immediately.
I see.
And in the long run, then we'll be more better off in the future. I just think and I just don't like all the hate in the country at the moment. There's so many arguments between people on telly, and it's just not making it a very nice place to live right now.
Well, yeah, we've got a nice thing later on of some young lads singing Last Christmas in a Ring doorbell, which will lift your spirits, because that's a nice thing. But I agree, there's a lot of argument. But argument is better than fighting.
Well, it's done respectfully.
It's done respect, as you are today. Thank you, Angela. After the break, we're taking more of your calls. Should we force the middle class to pay more tax? Where do you think the Chancellor should make budget cuts? 0207 862 2222 is the number you need. We'll see you very shortly. Before the break, we asked which traditional Christmas food is expected to be in short supply in the UK this year. Brussels sprouts, turkey, gammon. It's turkey. So we need to make a call and get our turkey reserved.
Well, they're not voting for Christmas, are they?
Welcome. There's probably a great political joke in there somewhere. Carolyn and Angela are with us this morning. Later, we're debating if litter louts should be made to pick up their mess. The AA has described littering as an epidemic across the country. Is it a big problem where you live? Lots of drivers get very upset by it because they see it at the roadside. They see the fly tipping more
and
than
the hand coming out of the window.
Oh, the crisp bag. Yeah. Now, more calls on whether the middle class should pay more tax. Susan in Leeds. What do you think, Susan?
I don't think we should. No. Well, I'll say I'm middle class, but I'm not really. I'm working class. But I think we've got an already bludgeoning, sort of growing welfare state, and to actually tax the middle class further to pay for, say, the removal of the two-child cap. I just don't think that's right. And I think that if Labour were a strong government, they would have been able to do the cuts that they wanted to do when they wanted to do them, but they can't get those cuts, and they know they can't past their left-wing, far-left backbenchers, and so they can't do it. They just can't do it. So, but the chaos, there's so much chaos. So one minute they want to cut the welfare state and bring cuts in. Next minute, they're adding to the welfare state. I mean, where's the vision? Where's the strategy? Where are we going with this government?
Well, isn't it because they got so badly burnt by the winter fuel allowance thing, where they decided to cancel it? The back blow was so bad that they felt reluctant to do anything else.
I don't think so, because they brought these cuts in right till the last minute. It was chaos. They were sort of getting the whip involved, but trying to get as many people in the Labour Party to vote for the cuts. But then they knew that wouldn't happen.
I'm looking at Carolyn here, wanting to see if she wants to come in. You know your politics, Susan, I can tell. My goodness.
Oh, I am very passionate.
I can see that. But here's the weird thing, Susan, is that Reform want those seats currently held by Labour, and the Reform Party, which you think is the most right-wing party, is to the left of Labour on some of this benefit stuff. They're going to increase the two-child benefit cap.
Yeah, they can see what they like, can they? But they're not. As long as you're not in power, you can say anything. When you get in power, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
Once you've got those books in front of you, and you've got to, that's when you've got to balance them.
Thank you, Susan. Amy in Carlisle, hi.
Hiya, Jeremy.
Should they whack the middle class?
Well, before I answer that, can I just answer your first caller? Because it gets me really, really cross when people say that people would rather be on benefits than off work.
Oh, yeah.
Than at work, sorry. I mean, I used to be on £1,000 a week. I'm now on £1,100 a month. Where do you think I'd rather be?
Well, the point is that if you're in a minimum wage job, is there a point at which a life on benefits overtakes you in terms of...
No, because any job would earn more than £1,100 a month.
Would it?
I would think so.
I should think
because that
so.
would own... It's
Okay,
only
so we're not gonna- all right.
£12,000 a year.
Okay, and you're off benefits now.
As regards to middle classes, taxing them more sometimes doesn't work, because I know people that won't work a 6 shift because it puts them into the higher tax bracket. So what's the point? Wouldn't it not be better to put a penny on VAT?
Yeah,
and
we
then
just said that, but they promised not to.
Demonised.
They promised not to. So I thought, am I being
old-fashioned here? Nobody's demonised then.
What?
And nobody feels sort of that, their class group of people are paying for another group.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone has to pay that extra penny, whether or not
Yeah, but it's not just one.
they've got millions or a tenner.
Okay, but on VAT, I suppose you can avoid VAT by not buying things, though.
Yeah, but if you put money on VAT, it's not just one item. It's everything in life. So suddenly you're paying a penny on everything you buy. So that so mounts up.
Not food.
Well, but on energy bills, people are really critical of energy bills.
Growth in wages
Yeah,
is not keeping a pace with the cost of living. That's
I thought she was thinking of taking VAT off energy bills. That would be interesting if she did that.
Oh.
Amy, thank you. Elizabeth is in Mid Glamorgan. We're just coming back to our debate of whether it's right for Rachel Reeves to get this money she needs from Middle England.
Hello.
Hi, Elizabeth. What do you think?
Well, I think she's after the ordinary people to get more tax, when she should close the tax loopholes that these people get away with. You've got the likes of Michelle Moon and her husband. They owed the taxman a lot of money. They put their company into liquidation just before they were ordered to pay back for it.
I know.
And there's 6.5 billion being written off for the COVID with the PPE.
The COVID loans, that was a shocker. Yeah, that was a shocker.
Why don't they tighten those rules and go after that money? Because a lot of people got rich out of that money.
Can you do that, Carolyn? Can you just go
well,
off these
that's
loans?
the problem with this is with the Michelle Moon case especially, that was a legal battle. That was a legal case. She should legally pay that back. The court has to enforce that now.
Yeah.
That could mean imprisonment for non-payment of tax. Other people have done that.
So
I totally agree, But it's
the COVID loans. Is why
yeah.
are we not chasing the COVID
well,
loans?
I agree. We should be chasing the COVID loans.
It was
Definitely.
unreal what happened with that.
And that was, and obviously there's a lot of it, and rightfully so, bad feeling for those that kind of try and rinse the system in order to maximise the profits that they make. But we also have to be careful not to make, I'm not even going to call it wealth, earning power, a dirty term in this country. You know, we don't want to quash aspiration. The growth, you know, the wealth creators, if you like, the people that create jobs, set up businesses, they employ other people, they encourage investment. And we are being taxed for being prudent in doing things that will... And we all I mean, I say we, I call myself I'm not middle class by any means, but I'm a middle earner, if you like.
Well, you're middle class if you own a car that's bigger than you.
Okay, I don't
Well, we're all
anymore.
middle class.
Oh, so you sold your 4x4?
Go back down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I used to have an ageing 4x4, which Jeremy, to this day, is very sorry, never managed to have a ride in because I'd already got rid of it. Yeah, it did. But things like paying for prescriptions, you know, paying for all the things that people from that tax bracket pay for. You know, we're already penalised on lots of levels, and we contribute to the public purse.
Let's get Kat in Worcestershire on. Hi, Kat.
Morning. Good morning.
You're sounding worried there. Are you looking forward to the budget?
Absolutely not. No. Firstly, I'd just like to say the definition of a wealthy individual. You know, how do you define someone who has more? Somebody who basically has gone to university, has clawed their way up, has made an effort to study, and has finally, in their late 40s and 50s, maybe got to a point in their career where they were hoping to have a comfortable income, and then they're quashed constantly. So it makes you feel that you may as well not have any aspiration in life. Let's not bother. Let's not go to university. Let's not get the debts from our university cost. Let's not try to have a career that will improve your lifestyle. Do
you feel you're being hit at the moment? Is it because you're going to get drifted into the high tax bracket or what?
Hugely. Well, we both culturally come from a working class background. My husband, with lots of disadvantages, dyslexia, etc., has clawed his way up, and he's finally, after many years, nearly 20 years, has got to the top of his profession as an engineer.
Okay.
And now we're being sort of hammered. You think, well, why did he bother? So we're terrified that our council tax is going to go through the roof. It's already through the roof, just because you have 4 bedrooms maybe instead of 3. We're talking about maybe leaving the country because you just feel that this point you just cannot keep your head above water.
At some point there will be the middle classes will just snap, won't they?
No, I don't think they will.
You don't think they will?
No, I don't think they will. I mean, they said this about taxing private schools. They said that people would not send their kids to private schools. People still send their kids to private schools.
Well, Russians are, I don't know.
But you're entitled. This is a market economy. If you work really hard, you're entitled to buy a dress from a posh dress shop rather than a supermarket if that's what you want to do.
But they've got this debt overhang. This is the question to you, is that how do they deal with this ongoing debt overhang? But you're going to
damage public finances. If you damage growth because businesses are driven away and the job creators are driven away, so they're going to come back for more anyway.
I mean, we currently have a national debt of £2.6 trillion.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we do.
We pay in £100 million a year in interest.
Yeah.
We cannot continue with that. We have to find a way of actually...
and
we've got to improve public services.
There we go. All right. So thank you, Kat. Thanks to all our callers. Later we'll be asking if little else should be made to clean the streets. After the break, though, do racism allegations against the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage put you off him? He says he's never directly racially abused anyone. What do you think of his explanation, though? 020 7862 2222. See you after this break.